Hello, everyone. Welcome to MYPOLAR, the podcast. This podcast is about my journey with mental health illness. I'm Mel, just in case anybody's tuning in for the first time. Thank you so much. All the returning listeners, thank you for coming back. This is my second time doing a video podcast. I'm still uncomfortable. Shout out to the people who do this YouTube thing for a living because it's a lot of work, more than I want to think about. But I have real content to spit, so I got to do what I got to do. Today's topic is bullying. I don't think people really understand what bullying is, what the long-term effects of bullying are, and it's become kind of cliche, in my opinion, in the society today. I was bullied when I was in school, when I was younger, even when I grew up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna be fake. They bullied me when I was grown too. But I grew up in the Bronx. In my neighborhood, it was a predominantly Puerto Rican neighborhood. So I didn't know anything about color. In my opinion, living in the North, people really didn't see that much. That's a Southern thing. And again, I want people to understand this podcast is about. So it's opinion, right? So don't attack me. I want to hear you guys comment, send me emails, comments, follow on social media. But if this how I feel. This is what I've been through. So growing up in the Bronx, I went to PS9, and it was cool. Yes, everybody was Spanish, but I didn't know the difference. We was all one people. I moved to Miami when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. I moved with my grandparents, and Miami for me was like, boom, a culture shock. I never knew anything about hair texture. I never knew anything about color. These people bombarded me when I was like in the first grade. They let me know a list of things that I didn't care to know. First of all, that I was black. Second of all, that my hair was nappy. Third of all, that I wore glasses. Like all kinds of shit that I didn't care about. I was just a human being. I was a young girl. That's all I cared about at that time. But moving to the South from the North, it was like, not to mention that I already knew that I was different. I already knew some type of way that I had something different. Obviously, growing up, I learned that I had mental health illness, but at that time, I just knew I was different. So I automatically felt like I wasn't going to fit in per se. Then when they bombarded me with the "you so black, your hair so nappy," whew, they pushed me all the way into a corner, and that was really, really hard for me. I don't necessarily blame the children as much because kids are doing what they saw or doing what they saw being done to them. When I was teased, they'd be like, "Oh my God, you so black." This would be somebody blacker than me telling me that. Like, "Oh my God, your hair so nappy." This would be somebody, they had a ponytail. The ponytail was like this long. And it was just brushed naps. You know what I mean? So obviously this child didn't know even how they looked. It was what they probably go through at home or what they saw their parents do. So bullying is so much more about the environment these children and these people are in, and negative and positive reinforcement. And for me, it was really, really hard. You go home and you tell your grandparents they're bullying you. You know what I'm saying? So what they gonna say? Granny tried her best, but it was more like nothing lasts forever. And it was hard. It was so difficult. And that also kept me in the space of not wanting to be honest about my mental health or genuinely not even wanting to talk about it. So I had to think on my feet really quick. I remember when I was in fifth grade, I had a elementary school teacher at Parkway Elementary. I'm going to say it all the way out just in case she's around. Miss Berry. You was wrong. Miss Berry would always pick on me in the classroom. I look back on it, maybe she thought it was funny, but it wasn't. She would call me stupid. She called me all kind of names, yo. And now I'm grown. I'm like, I'm still kind of mad. I cried about this recently, just to keep it real, because she hurt me really bad. But I remember being in the classroom and being like, "Oh my God, she about to come pick me. Oh my God, she's gonna pick me. She's gonna pick me." And boom, she picks me. And of course, I'm already nervous because you're harassing me at this point. She said, "Well, Mel, can you read this sentence in this chapter?" Of course, I'm nervous. I go to read it. I'm like trembling and shaking. "Are you stupid?" Boom, it blows up. And this is for the whole school year. I went through this shit with this lady. And I wanted to commit suicide. Not to mention, like I said, I already had my own set of things going on inside of my mind. So I wrote out on a notepad. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. We don't got no money anyway, so I don't got nothing to give away in my last will and testament. Just know this is why. Because Miss Berry drove me to suicide, and obviously, I'm laughing, but this is how I cope. And I always say we have triggers in these podcasts, so just to mention it, just in case. So, dang, anyway, so my grandmother found the letter, thankfully, and she was a Christian woman, a praying woman, and she just, Jamaicans, and I was very proud of the way she handled it, because in Jamaican community that I've experienced, at least, we kind of deal with things a lot differently, more dismissive and then aggressive. So either they be like, nah, that's foolishness, or they gonna beat you. Again, my experience. When my grandmother found the letter, she was like, Mel, why would you want to kill yourself? I said, well, thank you for asking. Because Miss Berry, she's a tyrant. I wish that I could send her to jail or even, something worse, but I can't. So I'd rather just not be here. She's always harassing me. She's always picking on me. And my grandmother looked at me and she said, nothing lasts forever. And I never forgot that. I'm grown. I still say that to myself even when I'm going through things to this day. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. I miss you, Granny, by the way. Just got to put that in there. She passed away 3 years ago. But the way she managed that situation, at least from me to her, she did her best, and she did the best that she could with what she had, but it worked because it helped me to realize I'm not going to be in this space forever. And I use those same tools with my mental health. Even though me and Granny didn't talk about my mental health till later on, I use those same things. If I'm going through an episode and I feel really depressed and I feel like, you know what, I can't do this no more, I say, Mel, nothing lasts forever. Or I'm in mania and I feel like, you know what, I'm about to spend every last dollar I got because I know this investment works. They said snails are gonna be the top selling thing, so I'm gonna buy all the snails with all my money and they're gonna make me super wealthy. And no one can talk me out of it. Yes, that's a stupid example, but I'm just using that to show you the kind of stuff sometimes that goes through my mind. And I would say to myself, you know what, Mel, you're in this crazy manic episode, but nothing lasts forever. And those words followed me, and they still follow me to this day. And bullying is a hard thing to overcome. And another layer, with you already having mental health illness, it pushes, for some people, with me at least, it pushed me all the way in the back. It pushed me into a space where it was like, I've been ridiculed for something that was so general. If you couldn't accept me for me, you know, be it reading, however I read in the classroom, how could she ever accept me if I ever was honest with her about what I was really going through? For the kids in the school, if you couldn't accept me on contact, yes, I'm black. Underneath here, excuse me, yes, hair's nappy, but that's okay because I don't mind. I don't mind. But how could I tell you what I was really going through? And I think people don't understand that bullying, it suppresses so many other things. Okay, boom, you might be bullying me for what you could see, but what I'm going through you can't see. What would you say with that? It just make people rather not. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Tell me what your bullying story is. Tell me how you overcame bullying. Like I said, I cried about this story recently because it just brought me back to that place. And I was like, damn, Miss Bear, why you did that to me? But on a real tip, it just brought me to that vulnerable person. I read a book recently about your 5-year-old self and how to nurture that 5-year-old self inside of you. And I had to go back to that person. And I was like, damn, this hurts so bad. But I don't know. So MYPOLAR is about my journey, about me having bipolar 1, having OCD, having schizoaffective disorder, and being honest about it and seeing who can gain something. And I'm looking to gain something in return. So let me know what you think. For people out there that's being bullied, nothing lasts forever. You can find you some help, find you somebody, get a group of strong friends. Tell someone if you feel like you can't manage it. We always have links at the bottom of all of our posts. But nothing lasts forever, you guys. So, my polar.